Hello everyone and welcome back to the garden, and what a glorious day today as well. And I've been up in the chicken shed mucking them out, and early in the season like this they create heaps upon heaps of chicken manure, which is beneficial for all plants in the garden. But today I'm going to show you how you can use chicken manure to generate natural heat to start your seeds earlier on in the season. The main purpose of our hotbed is to keep our young seedlings warm earlier on in the spring or late winter, when frost is still quite prevalent during the night time, but it allows us as well to germinate many seedlings earlier than what we ordinarily could outside without the need for artificial heat, because the natural heat generated from this organic process allows our seedlings to grow far quicker and earlier, because it warms the soil from beneath, and that then aids in helping us to grow healthy, strong, young seedlings. So the first thing you'll need to do to create a hotbed is find yourself a frame. So I'm using an old chicken run that I had laying about, a pen that I had laying about the garden, but you could use pallets or even just build a 2x1 frame, simple frame like this, and then cover it with bubble wrap and radiant insulation is what I've used, but you could use wool, anything you've got to hand really that's going spare, and then that will help insulate the material within the bed. And then you fill it then, as you can see here, with any kind of manure. So you could use horse manure, straw, chicken manure, any bedding really that's got a mix of carbon and nitrogen in it to create the reaction that you want, so that the microorganisms in the materials themselves start in a way, well, I suppose it's inoculated, isn't it? It starts in a way multiplying, and then that creates the heat. So I'll fill it right to the top. I'll compress it down, so I'll be on there standing it down so that there aren't any air pockets, and then I'll leave it for a day or so with the covering. You can also water it with hot water, not boiling water, but hot water. That'll help bring up the temperature and speed up the process. And then within a few days, this will be generating in the centre something like 60 degrees centigrade of heat, Celsius then. That's really a great eco-friendly heat source to ward off any frosts that we have that can catch us by surprise with young seedlings especially. So it allows us to generate a natural heat source. So what I'm doing today, I'm filling up those buckets over there in that cart. A bit of an arduous task, I will be honest, because obviously I haven't designed my polytunnel, and this is a note to self, to fit a cart in it. So I decided that growing endives and strawberries was far more beneficial. But because of that, then obviously I'm going to have to carry a lot of it in. But that's fine, because it's, it doesn't take too long, as long as you get yourself in a bit of a routine, and then we can fill it right up. It's a fantastic workout as well. And then obviously this is going to be my natural heat source for the next 4 to 5 weeks in the polytunnel, and you can't get better than that. No electricity involved, no fossil fuel involved, and at the end of the process I've got quickly broken down organic matter. That's a fantastic mulch, can be chucked straight onto the garden. It's like a hot composting facility in a way. So if you've got any diseased leaves and stuff that you're a bit weary of putting them in the compost heap, for example, bear them right in the depth of this bed, not too close to the surface, right at the beginning, and you'll be surprised. The heat this generates is enough to kill off the most fungal or airborne diseases or spores that you find on leaves, for example. Now, as gardeners, we're always experimenting with something new, and one thing I'm trying this year, I've tried it in the compost heap already, is adding biochar to the hotbed. Now, biochar is a very pure form of carbon, and it can help when it's inoculated, especially with high nitrogen content like this chicken manure. It can help to speed up the composting process. So obviously, if it speeds up the composting process, I'm thinking perhaps it will help me speed up the heat creation within the hotbed by multiplying the microorganisms that are in the organic matter already. So it's just a bit of an experiment. I've never done it before. I just want to see if it'll help. It may fail, it may overcook the hotbed, and the hotbed becomes too hot because the process happens too quick. But I think it's worth trying. So if you haven't before now experimented with biochar. It's fantastic material to add to the compost bin or to mulch around the garden. It helps with the soil structure, it helps with the microorganisms in the soil, and it's very good in terms of helping plants build up a resilience to many soil-borne diseases as well. So let's see, it's a bit of an experiment, who knows, but hopefully it will help this hotbed heat up far quicker in the early days. I've just finished filling up the hotbed with all the chicken manure, so the only thing that's left to do now is to get on top of it and compress it all down, and then monitor the temperature over the next few days before we put our seedlings on top.